builder. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use the focus transition feature in your GH5 or GH5S. It's handy for slider shots, pan and tilt shots, gimbal shots, or crazy handheld situations like this. Done. Roll that intro. What's up, everybody? You're watching Too Long Didn't Read Filmmaker, where the answers comes first, the reasons come last, but we are constantly and always still learning. So today I'm going to be teaching you guys another one of my all-time favorite features in the GH5 and the GH5S, and that is none other than the focus transition feature. Now, this is a very awesome feature because if you're using an electronic native micro four thirds lens, you can basically tell the lens and the camera up to 3 predetermined focus points and be able to shift between the 3 with pinpoint accuracy. Now, this is awesome if you're doing some really fancy product shots where you're racking focus from one product to the next, or maybe you're on a slider moving from point A to point B, or you're on a tripod and the actors are moving from point A to point B, or lastly, if you're on a gimbal, you can also pull focus with a gimbal. Sounds good, right? Let's learn how to set it up first. Okay, to set up your focus transition, first you need to go into the menu, go to the very top here with the video camera and the M, and then go to the second page, and there you are, focus transition. Now you can actually map this to one of the many function buttons on your GH5 and GH5S, so you don't actually have to do any of that. You just need to click on that function button, boom, and you are there. So the first thing you need to do is go to your focus pull setting, and it's gonna give you position 1, 2, and 3. So we're gonna start at 1, and I've already preset my little figure here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and hit the set button, and there we are at the very extreme of near focus. Next, we're gonna go to Master Chief here. So we're gonna focus on him. And you don't actually have to manual focus. You can actually use your screen. Get yourself to focus on him and then hit the autofocus button. There you go. And you can even hit exit. Voila, we've set our second focus point. So the next one, let's make this super easy on us. Let's just move over to Mr. Dead Yamcha here and hit the autofocus button. Looks good enough to me, so we'll hit the set, and there we are. We have our 3 focus points. At this point, we're gonna go back. Now the next thing is focus transition speed. I know this looks a little weird, but super SH, I guess, means super high, regular high, medium, long, super long. So obviously, if you go to super high, it's gonna rack focus very quickly. A little bit slower, nice and normal, takes a little bit longer, takes the longest. So this next feature over here is focus transition recording. Now what this means, as soon as you hit the record button, wherever your lens happens to be, it's gonna jump its way over to that spot. So let's say you wanna start the scene off out of focus, and as soon as you hit the record button, it's gonna rack into focus, and then you can start from there. That's basically what this function can do for you. I really don't have a whole lot of use for it, so I usually just turn it off. Now the next thing here is focus transition wait. So what does this mean? Basically what happens is when you tell the camera to move to a focus transition, it's gonna wait 5 seconds or it's gonna wait 10 seconds. And this is something that I think is more for people that are doing slider shots of inanimate objects, so that you're not hitting the focus button and then moving the slider as you go. It kind of allows you to, give yourself a little leeway there. But I usually just turn it off. All right, so there we are. You just have to hit the start button, and here we go. Again, if I wanted to start out of focus, and we want to focus to him in the very beginning, what I will do is I will go to position record, record on position 1, and then as soon as I hit the record button, it's going to rack focus over to the very first position. Now at this point, you have a couple different options. You can either hit and tap the screen, or you can use the jog wheel or you can use the joystick. Okay, so at this point in time, let's try something a little different here. Let's say we want this to snap super, super quick. So let's try this super high. And as you can see here, boom, 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 boom. Very, very nice. And then the next version is super, super slow. So let's go back to Dead Yamcha there. You can actually see down here in the corner, it's going to tell you how many seconds it takes to get to the full rack focus. And for this one, it is taking approximately, looks like 14 seconds just to get there, okay? So you can, this is really awesome for you to be able to determine each focus point. So now that you have everything set up, there are two things that you need to be aware of. Number one, if you happen to miss your focus, like the subject gets a little too close or too far and you want to slightly readjust it because you're already there, you can't do that, unfortunately. I'm not really sure why. I hope this is something that they will allow in the future. And number two, if you're using a zoom lens, be very, very careful that when you're operating the camera, you don't accidentally twist the zoom ring, because that throws the focal length off, and then your camera no longer knows what focus positions you have chosen based on that focal length. So you'll get a little error, and basically the transition feature will reset itself. So what's the bottom line here? The bottom line is that if you primarily own electronic micro four thirds lenses, then you really need to learn how to use this feature, because not only does it allow you to rack focus with a pinpoint accuracy, but you can start figuring out now, how do you want to move the camera? How do you want to frame the actors? And then basically determine the focus points while you're moving the camera. Now, while this is awesome, it isn't without its flaws, and there's two things that Panasonic could do to really make this feature stand out and pretty much almost make everybody want to go to the GH5, GH5S, and then specifically lock them in to the micro four thirds lenses. Now, the first thing that they should do is when you are moving between the three focus points, they should allow you to make a little manual adjustments after it's hit the points, because you know, sometimes actors might be a step too close, a step too far, and they're just a little out of focus. It'd be nice for you to just manually adjust it, and then they move to point 3, and then you can just hit point 3 and it'll still go there. The camera will still memorize it. Panasonic, please allow this to happen, because that would be awesome for narrative filmmaking. Number 2 is the smartphone app. Now, Panasonic hands down is killing the smartphone app, because now they're allowing you to monitor stuff in more or less full screen. You're able to adjust ISO, you're able to hit the shutter, you're able to do a lot of awesome adjustments. But the only thing you cannot do is move between the three focus points. I'm not really sure why. It's been over a year. I've emailed them and still have not received any confirmation that they're thinking about it or they're working on it, so I don't really know what's going on. The reason I want this is because if you love to do gimbal shots or you'd like to do jib shots, you don't want to be tapping the screen. Even though on a gimbal, if you tap the screen, it's not going to introduce that much of a movement, but it would be nice to have somebody else behind you or you yourself to be able to tap between the three focus points and not have to worry about tapping the screen. And of course on the jib, if the jib is 15 feet in the air, you're not going to have somebody up there tapping the screen as the jib comes down or goes up. So that would be awesome. Panasonic, please make that happen. Other than that, you really need to learn this focus transition feature if you own these types of lenses, because again, as you start experimenting with them, you can start creating some really awesome shots that not only moves the camera, but also racks the focus. And hey, that's it for this week, everybody. If this video has made all the influence in your purchasing decision for a GH5, a GH5S, or native micro four thirds lenses, I would really appreciate it if you check out my Amazon affiliate links down below. Again, this costs nothing extra to you, just gives me a little compensation so I can continue making videos like this for you. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave it down below. I will get to them as fast as I can. And until then, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next week.